I started a little early. I told people I was going to start in a little earlier than I thought. But if you want to do questions, y'all want to call in or whatever, you can go to YouTube or you can go to Instagram. You can watch the feed from there as well. Eventually, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be going live on TikTok as well, simultaneously. So people are all right, cool. Let's see. Live. Yes, sir. Yo, guy, what up? Yeah, I'm going live right now. What up? What you doing? Did you get the bank stuff, right? Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got put all the bank stuff. You got to do that as soon as you can. All right. I can't. Let me hit you out when I get back later. Bye, bye, bye. All right. So we are good to go. All right, y'all. I'm gonna type it. I know TikTok. Y'all are TikToking into. I don't have TikTok is not hooked up to the whole system to the software so that I can stream. I will be streaming directly to TikTok soon enough. I'm just trying to figure that out. How to get the stream key and how to be able to do that fairly soon. So people are coming in on all the platforms. But if you want to ask a question or you want to go, you can go to YouTube, you go to Man School or DanteNero.com. Please like and subscribe when you get there. I'm also live on Facebook and Instagram and Twitch. So I don't know, whatever your preference is, you can go there and we'll rock out, hopefully. Yeah, man. Let's see what it is, too. I will also put up the phone number, too. I think I can go live now. What the hell? And let's see. Sam. Hamson. Get a little music going. You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills. I appreciate you coming in.
You sick? You need medicine. It don't always taste good, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine.
Y'all want to hear it?
It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space aliens. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me. You're wrong.
Listen, I know people who need help.
And I know you think,
go to YouTube, you can listen to me actually. I can live calls, live conferences.
But you could be me, you know why? Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man School 202. Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
And I am excited to be here. Now I'm going to get into the phone line. What up, y'all? Here's the crazy thing tonight. We are streaming on Twitch, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. YouTube Man School 202. Like and subscribe on all the platforms. I'm also screaming on TikTok today from my phone because we haven't, I just got into TikTok. Initially, I just started trying to qualify so I can stream live on TikTok. So TikTok people are here. Y'all know how we do it. People who've been listening to the podcast and listening to me go to my lives. This is live consultations on the air. Whatever you got to say, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm ready to hear what you got to say. I'm gonna put the phone number up. I mean, let's see. Let's put the banner up. The number is 929-269-4922. If y'all want to call in from TikTok, you can do that too. Just let me know where you're calling in from, what your name is and where you're calling in from. The number is 929-269-4922. Live show, live consultations on the air. As whatever y'all want to ask, you can ask. I'm involved. Just be respectful. That's all that I ask. And I'm doing this for free. The Cash App is Dante Nero. I'll put the Cash App real quick. The Cash App, if you like the Cash App, is $DANTENERO. Cash App. If y'all want to Cash App me, you can do that. Let me put the number up. The Patreon is for where I do bonus content. You can go to patreon.com/manschool202 for bonus content as well. I'm going to leave the number up so that y'all can do that. The number is 929-269. The number's 26. I'm sorry. Let me get that again. Where's the number? Come on, Ian. The number is 929-269-4922. We're going to get into it. Please share live. Please, anybody who's on TikTok, please share the live so we know that this is a new thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to work it out. Eventually, I'm still working the bugs out. So there's that. I actually am on earlier than I said. I had some technical difficulties on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I usually do a live from 8:30 to 10 o'clock. And I do the Godfrey Request. After that show, I had to kind of cut that short because of the fact that we were like Godfrey was doing the Netflix is a joke festival, and so we had to cut it short. So I promised guys I would do some more questions and stuff on Thursday since I didn't have nothing going on. So there's that. Live with TikTok. Also, there's a lot of shit I talked about a lot of stuff on TikTok. I went live a little bit early. I hope a lot of people are still in here as well. But one of the things that I was talking about is that there's so many charlatans and so many snake oil salesmen that are pawning themselves as relationship gurus who really are exploiting the system in a way that we don't even understand. That somehow that there is billions and billions of people, and somehow, some way, there is it was billions of people, but somehow men and women are at odds. Meantime, we're effing every day, which is weird. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's definitely an accountability issue on both sides, on man's side and on women's sides. And there's also a situation where a lot of times I think that one of the things is a lot of times I'm talking to guys, and a lot of times guys don't take responsibility for the fact that they just don't know how to sell their wares. What I mean by that is, overall, if you're a guy and you have to learn how to forgive yourself for not being let me rewind. Men are supposed to know the society says men are supposed to know two things we're supposed to know with no practice. Number one is sex. Number two is relationships. Now, if we take a step back and we think about that as a concept, right? There's no shape or form, and no other thing, no other skill set at all that we would ever assume that somebody would have to be good at when they had no practice at all. it's just an absurd thing to expect people to do. Hold on. It's just something that we would just never do. You expect people to be good at things that they practice, and anything beyond that is just is an unacceptable request. Nobody expects you to be able to play ping pong if you never played ping pong. I mean, I think that's just reasonable. And so a lot of times you get men who are in situations where because they don't got no game and they don't know how to talk to women, and they get a woman and they think that, they're flabbergasted because the woman they do what I call, which is shoplift the pussy, is basically they're in a situation where they think that the girl is above their league, and because they're above their league, they act insecure about stuff because they don't feel like they deserve to be in those situations, And I think it's kind of fucked up when you think about it. It's kind of fucked up because what are we doing? Ultimately, what are we doing? We're literally taking a situation where we're supposed to know something that we know. So the first thing I think you have to do is, and then guys get ashamed because we're supposed to know. We're supposed to be the rock, the person who leads the situation. But how can you how can you lead a situation if you're not, if you don't have any practice? If you're in a situation where you just haven't learned, some of y'all didn't grow up with fathers, and some of y'all who did have fathers didn't have somebody who could really teach game, and in a real sense to teach somebody how it is to be a man. And then you have a lot of times you have women who, I'm tired of this, or I'm bored of this, and they left the father, and then you got some kid that's trying to learn how to be a man from his mother. Somebody asked me on TikTok, they were saying, can you tell some Patrice O'Neal stories? And this is something, it's not gonna be a story, but a lot of times Patrice would get mad at me. A lot of times he'd get mad at me. And when he get mad at me, instead of confronting me and say, yo, you did this or you did that, he would just not talk to me. And I would be calling him to the point where, Patrice had high blood pressure, and I've been wondering if he was okay, if he was healthy. And what he would do a lot of times was he would he would just give me the silent treatment, which is weird because if you think about it, that's a very bitch ass thing to do. Not that I'm saying that my man was a bitch ass, but I'm saying he learned that from his mother. So when things would conflict and he was my best friend and he was offended by it, he resorted to kind of bitch-ass ways to communicate. Why? Because that's what a woman would do. A woman would give you the silent treatment. Her ego would go, how dare you treat me this way? I refuse to have a discussion with you, which is crazy when you think about it. Because how can I possibly know what's going on in your mind? Everybody in the chat, I just want to make sure that that y'all hear me, or y'all hear me good. Give me a thumbs up, please. In the chat, if y'all could, please give me a thumbs up just to make sure y'all hear me. What's up, Felicia? How you doing, babe? Shout out to Will Pennington, Alex Skandar. Thank you. Y'all hear me good? Indira, thank you. Indira, thanks for coming in. I appreciate y'all. Just wanted to make sure the sound was good. Thank y'all. So I'm bringing both families together. I'm bringing the TikTok family back together with the YouTube family. We're eventually going to make one big happy family, but it's going to take a little time for me to figure out the technical aspect of it. But what I'm saying is you find that another thing is men have a really hard time asking for help because we see, what's up, Iraq? We see a situation where if we're asking for help, we feel as though we lost. We feel as though we're not man enough because we lost. Because I don't know how to do something, but we gotta be better as human beings to each other. Our expectations need to be reasonable. Nobody's a mind reader. Yes, women need to be more accountable for some of their stuff, but even when we're talking about that, but we need men to be more accountable. You have to seek out people, mentors and stuff. That's how you get better. If you don't do that, you won't get better. And then we're in this situation where there's a huge misunderstanding between both races. Let me just say this over and over again, that the perspective of Man School 202 is this: men and women are not at odds. We love each other. We need each other. The difference is, I don't think we always understand each other. We don't understand. I was talking about this on TikTok earlier today. I was saying that this is something that men don't ever take into consideration. They don't take into consideration that, hey, that every time a woman goes out on a date, she has to decide whether or not she's going to be safe. She has to decide whether you might murder her. And she has to be she has to check all boxes just to see that she's safe. And this is something, and this is why ACE, the acronym Authenticity, Credibility, Empathy, ACE, Authenticity, Credibility, Empathy. I'll say it again. The empathy is just as important, because we have to understand that this is a concern for women. Women every time, and any women that are in the chats, please give me a thumbs up or something, just that I'm not just talking shit. Yeah, I'm the dude that trained Pete Davidson. I just wish I had more time with him. I really do, because he'd have probably been married to Kim Kardashian if it was up to me. But that's a whole nother thing. Pete Davidson was my little shorty when he was 17. I walked him through him losing his virginity. So here's the thing. Women have to go. We're getting the thumbs up in the chats. Women have to, you ask a woman out, she has to go, is this guy going to murder me? Is he going to sexually assault me? Am I going to end up with an R? You know? That's crazy, dog. No man here has ever had to go out on a date and wonder whether or not they were going to be raped or not. That's crazy. Think about that at the norm, that's what women have to consider. So you've got to have some kind of empathy. So when a guy talks to a woman and she's skeptical or whatever, and I don't mean nasty, because trust me, I understand. We've all been in situations where women don't see you as a viable entity, and then they, they're disrespectful. But you got to understand that her mentality is, a woman's mentality is that I got to be safe. Because she has to make sure that the going to the Olive Garden, getting the free breads and breadsticks and salad is worth the time. And this is something that men don't have to think about. Most men hope they get raped on their date out that a girl with. It's just not what happens. The dynamic is different. And for our ability to understand that women think differently and they have different concerns is something that I think we need to consider. That's all I'm saying, is just consider the other person. But in order for what we say, I don't know. I don't think Lewis is gay, but whatever. I don't know. I think that we have to take things into consideration. What up, team? We have to take into consideration what our concerns are. A man wants to feel like he's making a difference. He wants to feel cherished. He wants to feel loved. He wants to be able to feel respected. And women want to feel safe. So we want different things. So there's that. The phone lines is open, y'all. 929-269-4922. I know I said that I wouldn't start the live until 8 o'clock, but I wasn't doing nothing. I figured, what's up, Gossiping Heifers? How y'all? I figured I would start early. And, Gossiping Heifers, do me a favor, call in, please. I just want to make sure the lines are working and say hi, if y'all can. The number is 929-269-4922. Just give me a call. I just want to check the phones and make sure the phones are good. Yeah, number's 929-269-4922. But it seems like we're at odds. And a lot of times I think that neither one of us are being, pin it, I can't pin, oh, well, let me see. Yeah, I can. She wants me to pin the number, 929 269 4922. Yeah. I want to say that it's we are looking for different things, that we're not the same, and we're not supposed to be the same. And that's the beauty of it. There we go. Phones are working. Good.
Xavier.
Hello, who am I speaking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Dante? It's Xavier from California.
What's up, Xavier? How are you, brother? Thank you, Sterling Borg, for that super chat. I appreciate you, family. Let me put that up real quick. What's going on, Xavier? How can I help you, bro?
Oh, pretty good. I was just calling to see because you asked for someone to call to
thank
make
you,
sure
bro.
that the lines work.
Thank you, bro.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep. I did want to ask you real quick though. Now, what do you think about the whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake thing?
It's funny because I'm going to do a video. Harry and I are going to do a video on that. And what's interesting about that is we can talk about the beef and all of this stuff, but what nobody has talked about, I mean, we talk about people going personal and all kinds of stuff like that. You know what's crazy about this? All of this is over women. This is all simp shit. I mean, if we look underneath it all, there's a pool of women, right? Who Kendrick and Drake and Lil Wayne and all these dudes, they all sleeping with these same women, right? And their inability to understand what their value is, even though they're millionaires and they have access to women far beyond anybody's understanding, right? It's about women. And I just heard today that one of Drake's bodyguard got shot, right? Today.
I think that was yesterday. Yeah.
Today? Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think it happened yesterday, and they're talking about it today. So whatever we think about the rap beef and all this, what is it from? It's all of these dudes. This dude slept with this girl he used to sleep with. He married the girl that he used to sleep with. It's just insane. And it's all because nobody's foundation is built in their manhood in the first place. Don't get me wrong, I'm a hip hop head. I love the lyricism. I love and we love a messy time. That's what the internet is for a messy time. But come on, does nobody see that this is about women? This is about access to women.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else has said that.
I'm still listening. I don't know what it's all about.
But I'm saying, if you read some of the creators are talking about the beef, and this dude slept with this one, and she dated this one, and she dated that. I just did a video about academics, and academics was on the phone crying about some girl that some chick who was playing him, and she was like, "You're a clown." And even when we talk about Diddy is like, here's the thing. And Sterling, don't worry, I'm gonna get to your question right after this. The interesting is Diddy is the epitome of what women would say. I want a guy with a Bentley, with the pool. I want multiple houses, a private jet, right? And this dude still this woman he still had to hire goons to make sure that she didn't that she didn't cheat on him. How are you supposed to be the dopest dude ever? Take that, and you running around stalking your chick?
Yeah, I do see that. I think Drake, because I'm biased California, I think Drake would benefit a lot from coaching sessions, because I have seen interviews where something that is not that deep, he takes it super personal because he has a fragile ego, in my opinion.
I don't know. Did he grow up with his dad or no? Because I seen pictures of his dad. His dad looked like a pimp. He'd be rose-colored glasses and...
I don't know, to be honest. He's acting like he didn't.
Yeah, he's acting like it's this real feminine energy, and with all the money in the world, you still keep that feminine energy. But yo, Xavier, thanks for calling in, bro. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Andre.
Later. Yeah, nobody's talking about that though. That this is all about women. Sterling Borg, give me a super chat. Hold on one second. Let me just pick this up.
Happen.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Michelle, Gospel Heifers, Houston.
What's up, baby? Thank you so much for calling in. The phone's a working thing. I see you out there listening. I appreciate you. I got to come on your show soon, all right?
Hey, look, man, I was going to have a question for you via time, but if you don't, I'll get you back.
Can you hold on one second? Let me just do this super chat, and then I'll just stay on the line, all right?
Definitely.
All right. So this is Sterling Borg's $5. Thank you, brother. He says, can you talk about women not apologizing? I asked my male friends this, and they've never had a woman apologize to them in their life. Now, Indira and some of the girls in the chat say, women apologize, yes, with a caveat. A caveat, because a woman is telling, a woman will a lot of times, sometimes she's hurt by the fact that you're hurt. She's hurt by it's an emotional thing. But what's crazy is that what gets me is that men understand that women tend to be a little more emotional about certain things, and yet and still, when they act emotional, then you're surprised about it. I think that the best way to deal with the problem is to call somebody about what behavior is, what your boundaries are, and to set those boundaries and make it clear that you're not willing to put up with things beyond that boundary. I've said this before. If I'm out on a date and somebody says, you're so fucking stupid, even if she's playing, you're so fucking stupid, I go, look, right away I go, don't call me out my name. And she'll be like, well, I'm just playing, you acting all emotional. I go, no, I'm not acting emotional. I'm just telling you that one of my standards is in no shape or form is me calling you out, you calling me out your name, even in a joking manner. In no shape or form does this end up good. So don't do it. Now, if she's going to press and not apologize, what you're saying, Sterling, and push that, then I get the check and I go. Because if somebody is saying to me, if I'm telling you this makes me unhappy, and I'm on my first date, and the thing is, and she's saying, I don't care what you think, right? And she moves on, then that's somebody that you don't need to be with. So I think, Sterling, what I'm saying is you got to be clear and concise and not be angry, but clear and concise about what your boundaries are, and then set those boundaries and know that nobody's going to put up with, nobody's going to put up with the nonsense, no matter. And it's not just nonsense. I'm just saying these are your boundaries. I say that relationships are the easiest thing in the world. Just know what your non-negotiables are and never negotiate them. What's up, darling? How you doing? What can I help you with?
Yes. Okay. Now, this is Heifer One. So I got a question because I have recently had an intriguing DM in my inbox from a gentleman that I find interesting. But he's talking a little bit too much stuff too fast. Like, I think you the one, you wifey material. And I'm like, dude, you don't know me.
Right.
So usually do men do that to hook, line, and sinker?
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm just like, dude, come on.
But let me say this though. How you know? I mean, you haven't slept with him, you haven't met up with him, you just DMing with him, right?
Right.
Well, let me say this. Here's the thing. You guys, and shout out to the Gospel Heifers. Y'all still doing the show, yes?
No, we're not.
You're not? Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. But yes.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, but what I'm saying is that you guys had a lot of content out, right?
Right.
Is the guy familiar with your content and stuff?
He swears up and down he knew nothing about it.
Yeah, but that's probably not so. Anyway, which again is a kind of, I mean, we're already, the red flags is popping up already, right?
Yeah. And the red flags of the conversation, he's getting sexual too soon. I'm like, dude, we don't even know each other's, we don't know enough about each other.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Too soon is too soon for you. Not necessarily too soon for him, right? So
exactly.
Here's the thing. Because if this the right dude saying the right shit at the right time when you feel the right way about him, it ain't too soon. So let's understand, let's be honest, right? And say too soon is my framing of that.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So there's not
Right.
necessarily something wrong with that. But it is wrong if you're not with it and you're saying, hey, listen, I'm really not that comfortable being sexual at this point. Would you mind toning it down? Now, have you said that or no?
Oh yeah, I told him. I said I think you're moving too fast. You need to slow up a little bit.
Okay, and what was his response?
He was like, "Well, yeah, I'll try." I'm like, "But no, don't try. If you want to get to know me, slow up."
Okay, and then and have you spoke to him since then?
He's texted me this morning. The usual good morning, how you doing, and have a great day type of stuff.
Okay, here's my thing. If he crossed the boundary, and you said, hey, this is not cool, and then he responded to it and he pulled back, right?
A little.
What is he still doing sexual shit?
Yeah, he's still trying to tap on that board. I'm like, dude, you're doing too much again.
Let me. Okay, what is he saying? You mind me saying what he said?
Oh no. He's been asking for certain pictures. He wants to do a little face-to-face action, and I'm like, dude.
Does he want to do FaceTime to see your face, or is he saying I want let's jack off on FaceTime? Is that what it is or no?
Well, no, we've already FaceTime with conversation where there was nothing sexual, but then like right after that, he was just getting right into, okay, well, I would like to see you do this and that. I'm like, dude, you're doing too much.
Okay, so here's my question. So you've explained to him where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And he's disregarding you, and he's doing whatever he wants to do, right?
He's still pushing the envelope, yeah.
Okay, so why are you still talking to him?
Exactly. Exactly.
What and I said and this is interesting because I know the show is called Man School 202, and I'm really happy to see some women in the chat and all of that. But let me say this: there's no rules that I hold for men that I don't hold for women. I mean, there's little slight things that I think there's some wiggle room. The bottom line is, if you have set a boundary and you've made it clear about what that boundary is, and somebody continues to and this is fresh, what makes you think they're not going to push beyond the envelope in the first place? How does that change? That's not going to change. It never gets better. I'm a stand-up comedian. Been a stand-up comedian for 24 years. There's never a situation where I walk on stage and somebody heckles and it gets better. I'm gonna check them, but if I check them and they continue, you got to get the security. You got to get this motherfucker, because I'm not gonna have the people who are here to enjoy the show to suffer because of this idiot who's selfish. And if somebody's being selfish, he's telling you, when people tell you who they are, believe them. So you've already set a boundary. If he's not willing to respect those boundaries, then he is a perpetual line stepper.
Yeah, but besides that, but I also think it's big girl bait, because I'm telling you right now, Dante, if you're a big woman out here in these streets, you get hollered at. I don't know what it is, but they think we big girls are thirst trapping. They bring up the love, the marriage, and the wife, and I'm like, dude, you know how many times I've heard this shit before?
Yeah, but let's be honest. I want to say this. I want to say this. It's not just big girls; it's everybody. Guys have used deception to get ass, shoplifting pussy all the time. That's not new. It won't change. And as long as it keeps working, they're gonna keep doing it.
Okay, well, I appreciate the advice, so I'm gonna make sure that I'll set that record straight.
Just don't. It's nothing to set the record straight. You just don't respond.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Don't. There's not a conversation. You've had the conversation.
Right.
So let me read some of the comments. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Take care.
All right. in addition to be about women, it's really about Ace and them trying to hold each other accountable. Absolutely, and I'm Felicia. Thank you so much for saying that. I mean, I do think it's a situation. Thank you, TikTok people, for keeping them likes going. Somebody saw me in Nashville. Yeah, I was. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'm working both things at times, so I'm like feeling titties, finger popping, and saying, I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. Let me see. I'm going through the contents of the context. I would like to see Godfrey giving advice. Ask him. I don't know if you want his advice, but somebody said respectfully, this ain't Godfrey's lane. Tell Rico, read my message again one more time, and I'll think about it for 10 seconds. I'm not sure. Alexander, if you wanted to hit me back with that. Don to your beast. Thanks for keeping. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Ghost Dog Blue. Ghost Dog Blue, 76. Phone lines are open. Let me put the number up real quick, fast, in a hurry. Or anybody who's on TikTok. What up, yo? What up, Herb? Keep in mind, this is a situation where we have to understand that. Let's see, where's that number? Here we go. Bam, let's bring it up. Call in, it's 929-269-4922. For TikTok, it's 929-269-4922. If you call in, I'll pick it up. I'd love to hear somebody from TikTok calling in. That would be dope, too. Somebody called and said, Dante, how can I get my in-laws out of my house without being a bad guy? Mel, why don't you call in? This is a good topic to talk about. What I would say is this. You built the house. I would ask the mailman, I would ask this. Are your in-laws they have a problem, and are they staying with you because they lost their house? Are they in a bind? But I think what you have to understand is your peace of mind in your own house is super important. And if you're going to have people you're going to have family members, I totally get when people are, when family members are in a bind and you want to reach out and help them, but you got to understand the peace of mind of your marriage, your family is more important than they are, because I'm assuming you have kids, and sometimes being a bad guy is the best thing. Ace is authenticity. And I've talked about this several times. I haven't really talked about this when I'm on TikTok, but we'll get to that as well. But what's interesting is that every consultation and everybody who I've ever consulted with, man, woman, or otherwise, 99% of them are liars. And when I say that, I don't want people to get offended, because I'm not necessarily calling them liars per se. But what I'm saying is that when people say you're a liar, what we think is the worst case scenario. The scenario where overall what we're talking about is somebody who's lying because it's in a malicious way. We're trying to take advantage, or we're trying to get something for nothing or something. But there's two other lies that are equally as important. One is where men will lie, and women as well, they will lie not to create a confrontation, not to have a problem, right? And men will also lie not to hurt somebody's feelings. Like, do I look fat in this dress? There's something that I called, and I've quoted this several times, at least on YouTube, not so much on TikTok, but it's what I call the Judge Judy effect. Judge Judy effect is when Judge Judy, you do Judge Judy, which is an old court show, those who are, millennials and younger who haven't seen it. But she was a judge with a court show. If she caught you in a lie the first 5 minutes of the conversation, dog, everything you said after that point had no credibility. And because of that, everything after that was questionable. Now, if you are not honest because you don't want to tell. Now, I'm not saying if somebody says, do I look fat? If your lady says, do I look fat in this dress? You don't have to say, you a fat bitch, goddamn. You don't have to say that. But you can say, I don't think that looks that. I don't think that show that just flatters your shape or your curves. I think you can be. I think you're not trying to destroy somebody's life, but you also don't want to compromise your honesty for anything or for anybody, right? Understand that. To the same token, there's things that we do that our spouses may be doing that bother us, and we don't want to say nothing because we don't want a confrontation. Listen to me. If you got a bunch of in-laws in your house, it could literally destroy your marriage. You could end up divorced, and then there'd be nobody staying in your house. And so I don't think that it's unreasonable. That I understand if they're in a bind, if they had a hurricane, or if there was a flood or something like that. Hold on. Let me get this. If there's a flood or something like that, you reach out to family members, but it has to be in the context of.
No.
It has to be in the context of there has to be an end to it. Who am I speaking with? Where you calling from?
Hey, Dante, I'm calling from Florida. It's Mel. I was in the chat. I had asked the question about the in-laws.
Okay, cool. All right, so Mel, do you have kids?
Yes, sir.
How many kids you got?
I got 4.
All right, and how many in-laws are staying with you?
2. You know, her mom and dad.
Okay, now do they not have a place to stay, or what's the deal?
But that's the thing, like, they did, and then it was like they wanted a bigger place. So they're like, oh, we'll move in, save some cash, and then we'll be out.
Okay.
But it's been...
How long has it been?
It's been like 2.5, going on 3 years.
Yes. Okay, look. Here's the thing. You know when people are taking advantage of you, right? What's your wife say about this?
See, that's the thing. Like, she all with it because, you know, she close with her parents. I'm not. I grew up without parents.
I get it. But let me say something. Does this disrupt the peace in your household?
Well, I'm the one taking all the L's.
Okay.
I'm the one without. You feel me? Like,
all right. So now, if you spoke to her father, what would he say? If you said, "Listen, man to man, this is the thing. This is, I'm glad to help. It's been over 2.5 years, but and I'm speaking to you as a man. You got to understand that this is my home and this is my family. And you guys,
this is the issue I'm having, Dante. Not to cut you off, right? I see where you're going, but the thing is, they don't treat like this is my house. I pay everything, but they treat it like it's her house. Like they go to her first, and then I find out. You get what I'm saying?
Then you need to talk to him about that. Like, you should have had that conversation with him in the first place. You have to say, listen, but you can still do it now. You can say, listen, this is how I feel. I understand that this is your daughter. She's close with it, but I pay the bills here. And you're asking her stuff instead of you coming to me man to man. I'm coming to you man to man. You got to come to me man to man and talk to me if there's a problem. The other thing is this has got to be putting pressure on your relationship in your marriage.
Oh, man, she think everything all good, but I ain't gonna lie. Like,
yeah, but then why are you not saying that?
I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too.
You being
too
a bitch.
Much of a good guy.
You being a bitch. Stop. That's what you was thinking, right? That's what you was thinking, right? I'm being a bitch.
I'm trying to respect your platform.
No. You can say bitch. You being a bitch, and you know it. But here's my thing, Mel. This could destroy the marriage. If this, you explain it to him. You explain it to him as a man that say, listen, this is pressure on my marriage. I love your daughter. I love your grandchildren. I said, and I don't mind helping, but this is there has to be a plan for you to move out. This is not okay. And if she gets mad at it or whatever, then she just got to be mad at it. Because here's the thing, Mel.
Like, take that L, how you used to say back then.
You
like,
gotta take
the ball and go home.
Listen, dog, there's no way that you're going to stay in this marriage with living with her in-laws for the rest of your life. That's just not okay. You're not going to pay the rent. And is he working or no?
Nah, the mom does. the pop, he's cool, but he's a little elderly now, like.
So nobody's
Little
working. So
older.
you're not getting no money.
Nah, honestly, Dante, I don't want money from them. I don't want no bread. I just want them to.
Okay, well then you gotta have a
conversation.
you gotta have a conversation with him as the man of the house and say, listen, this is putting pressure on my marriage, and this could ultimately break me and my wife up. Your presence here, I don't mind helping. I understand that everybody's in it, but it's 2.5 years, and we need to set up a time frame where you have to go get your own place.
I just put my foot down, let them know.
What else you gonna do? Otherwise, what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna be putting your foot down and you're gonna get the fuck out of the marriage. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, gonna pack my bags and dip out. Nah, that's true. Yo, man, appreciate it. I kind of knew where you was gonna go because I've been listening to you guys, man, since you started Man School and since Patrice with the Black Phillip.
Now, and let me say this. How many kids you got? You said you got 4?
I got 4.
All right, and how many girls, how many boys?
3 girls, 1 boy.
Okay, so you want your boy to see how a man responds to situations. You have to understand something. When children are involved, right? You don't get to be a bitch. Because if you're a bitch, what you do is you're teaching your son how to be a bitch.
I got you. Like the way I look at it, like I always try to protect them from like their little stuff. You understand?
But they're not. You're not protected. Let me say something. I learned how to be a man by who my father was. Now I'm not saying that my father didn't have mistakes. He had a lot of mistakes, but I could see what a man was, and I had a model, and then I could fix the things that I thought that my father didn't do well.
Okay.
So
then you go from there.
And here's the other thing. You got 3 daughters, right? You're teaching your daughters that they could just have the in-laws in the family and that they're not supposed to cleave to their husband and make their marriage work.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like it's almost like, I see what you're saying. Like okaying the BS.
You're okaying the bullshit. So it's really important that the nature of the framework that your wife, because your daughters are going to be like your wife and your son's going to be like you, and your relationship is the model that they depict what their life is supposed to look like. So you don't have a choice. You can't be a bitch. Because all you're doing is
you gotta put it like that, dog.
Because you know what? Because here's what you're doing. What you don't want is your son to be a bitch.
Yeah, nah, I got
So you can't create a model that, because kids don't care what you say, they're watching what you do. You feel me?
Yo, you know that's crazy because I didn't think of it like that. Like I was just thinking, I'm taking all the L's.
Nah, dog, they're watching you and they're learning.
Like,
they're learning.
I ain't thinking that.
Dog, let me tell you something. The lion's share of the money I make from consultations. Y'all want a consult? Also, anybody want a live one-on-one consultation? Go to DanteNero.com. Click on consult. You can book time with me directly, and we can go through all of the nonsense and sharpen shit up. But it's an opportunity to see us get a sample of what I do on these consultations. But you got to understand this. Kids are watching what you do, your relationship, the nature of your relationship. This is why, we all know this. When we have houses and there's abuse and physical abuse in households, what do? We ultimately create a situation where our kids become abusive, become physically abusive.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen kids who are pedophiles because they were molested? When does that not happen? You feel me? So we don't even have, there's no margin for us not to do the right thing, because your life ain't your own no more. What you're doing is you're presenting a situation where ultimately you're creating a dynamic that's not good. It's not good. It's not good for the kids. It's not good for the family. And if your father-in-law is a certain kind of dude, he will understand. He'll get it. And if he doesn't, he still got to get the fuck out, because he got his wife. He's had his kids. And it's your job to respect. I say, as a man, you got to be strong enough to protect your woman from her emotions. You got to be strong enough to protect you from your woman's emotions, and you got to be strong enough to protect your relationship from her emotions. Because when we are emotional, then we never let emotion have a seat at the table, because if we do, that's when the mistakes are made. You feel me, Mel?
No, I got you. I definitely.
So anyway, you got to do it. He got to
understand.
go. Now, you can have this conversation where you can lay this out in a real way, where you go, okay, this is how much time you got to get it together, right? And you could go, and you could also go, well, yo, it's time to go. This is the deadline. Because
give a deadline and keep them moving.
Because if you leave and then she got to move in with them, they don't even got a house for her to move in with. So yeah, it's not okay. I appreciate you, Mel. Thanks for calling, bro.
I appreciate you, man. I didn't think you was gonna answer, but appreciate it.
All right, bro.
And I'm definitely gonna hit that cash up, man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it. It's on the bottom. You see it's on the bottom. So.
Oh, I know. I got you. I'm about to hit that right now, man. Just showing love like this.
I appreciate you, family. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. All right, bro. I got a bunch of stuff in the comments. CeeLo says, Dante, I don't think that your age shouldn't apply to women because we are different. What would you recommend they live by? Here's what I would say to that. This is a thing when you get. This is what my problem with Kevin Samuels was. He was not giving answers, and he was talking to women about this. Women are a definite reflection of the man that they fucking with. Any of the women that I have in the chat will agree to this. Women have friends that they shop with, friends that they thought out with, friends that they go to the opera with. Women are very malleable, and they have different friends for different things. Guys, we usually got the same group of friends, and the people that we don't like, even the ones we don't like, we keep around. So what I'm saying is, when you have a strong framework,
Chris.
When you have a strong framework, hold on, Chris. When you have a strong framework and you are a man who practice ACE, everything flows from you. If you're not tolerating bullshit and you're holding people accountable and you're maneuvering in a way that doesn't leave space for the bullshit, you're not going to get the bullshit from. But you can't be emotional. You have to be authentic. You got to not lie on any level, because any of that level makes what you're doing not credible. Chris, what's up, brother? Where you calling from?
What's going on, man? I'm actually calling from Richmond.
Richmond, Virginia. What's going on, brother?
Ain't much, man. Just calling to touch base with you right quick, man. I got a quick question. You just let me know if this is a little too far left from what's going on. But
let's go.
Just got a quick question. So this is, you're talking about the things that you put up with, those sorts of things. And my question is essentially, what is it that you could possibly, I guess a piece of advice that you could possibly give somebody that's building a family at this point, but dealing with a stressful situation in regard to their professional life, and trying to find this balance between creating, I guess, what would be an ideal family, quote unquote.
Okay, what kind of stresses are you talking about?
We're talking just overall. Oh, that's a good question. Just overall stress when it comes to working itself, man. To a place of like where you talk about your confidence, you talk about the loss of even like identity in a sense because of the nature of your job that can essentially kind of pull you from you.
Okay, that's interesting.
You know
Let's dig a little deeper. When you say taking you from you, what do you mean? Like what's your job?
So I am a solutions engineer. So essentially every day I'm dealing with problems.
Okay.
And it's for a very large agency, not popular, just large. It's just
okay. So when you say solutions engineer, doing what? Like is it in the field of engineering or just like HR? Like
so
what?
IT.
Okay. And
IT.
So here's if IT, you're saying if there's bugs and stuff, you're the one that has to figure out what the bugs are and how to deal with them.
Right. Basically.
And how does that take you out of your yourself? I mean,
So ultimately, it's the, I guess it's just the nature and the environment of the agency in which I'm currently at. There's a toxic environment in a way that's like it's just there is no there is no idea of how can I put this, of creating a conducive work environment in a way that you're looking for an end goal, in a sense where you're trying to make things better, you're trying to be more so progressive, you're trying to that's the type of person I am. Like, I'm not trying to continue to go in circles. I like to my biggest thing is to find efficiency and I mean that in all respects of life. So in this process, it's gotten to a place of where I have lost a ton of confidence. Like, I was a performer at a point in time. I've been on stages. I've done those things. But I'm at a place now where it's like I feel like I got a foot on my neck, and then then that eventually falls into your relationship.
now
And,
that foot on your neck, does it come from a boss that is not aware of the pressures that you're under?
That's part of it.
Okay, so let me ask you this: did you have a conversation with your boss?
I have.
And what was the conversation?
Essentially, like I'm kind of like the sore thumb. I'll put it like that, because I see the holes that are there, and I approached them basically in a very formal manner and brought what I thought would be potential solutions to creating a better space. And it's basically hitting like a brick wall every time.
Okay, now is this the CEO or is this your immediate boss?
This would be I would say a head of my department, so not the CEO.
Okay, so did you think about and you had this conversation with him?
I have had that conversation
with your immediate your I guess your area manager, your regional manager, whatever.
Right.
Did you and then it was just pushing up against a brick wall. Now, what is your record? I mean, in terms of what's your like, are you somebody who has been, like, have you ever got recommendation or have been accommodated for the things that you do?
So that's one thing. That's another part of it, I guess I say. It's like we don't have those types of perks. I'll put it like that as well. It's not as if it's you know what I mean? I'll say it's not a well-run agency.
Okay, so here's what I would say to you. I think that you have to, in a situation, you got to go above his head. What I would do is I would send an email to his superior and to him. Because here's what happens with people who are who are unaware of what the situation is, or somebody who's power crazy, or somebody who's not in a work situation where they have power and they're not really equipped to handle the power, but they don't want their boss to know what the fuck is going on. So
that's real.
I would send an email and CC my boss. I would send the email to him again, right? And when he doesn't respond to it, I would send the email again, as per I spoke to you before, blah, 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 and CC his boss. Because it sounds to me that the incompetence is coming from your boss, yes?
I agree with you there, because I definitely feel like there's even just this. No, I don't like to talk bad about folks, but I feel like there's a level of, like, there's a comprehension.
But there's also a comprehension thing where if there's a comprehension, and maybe let's just be honest, maybe he doesn't have the emotional and intellectual acuity to be in that position, and he's in that position, which means he's not changing because he doesn't have the ability to, but he doesn't want to be perceived as incompetent. And so the minute you shine a light on that, like, here's the thing, and I talk about ACE all the time, I talk about truth.
Right.
When you expose the truth, people, I have a thing I say all the time is my honesty sharpens your truth. Meaning, I'm so honest that if you full of shit, you're not gonna fuck with me. Because there's nothing, and if you, I don't know how long you've listened to the live, I'm listening to TikTok, I'm gonna deal with these questions I got on TikTok as well. If you're full of shit, if you meet somebody who's full of shit, he wants to fuck with somebody who's full of shit. See, we could both stay in that gray area, right?
Right.
We could both stay in that gray area, and us staying in that gray area allows me to, it's just like dinner theater. I lie about you, you lie about me. We both walk away thinking that we're important, right?
Exactly.
But the minute I bring somebody else in it, right, and it's viewed by everybody, now you have to deal with the righteousness or the lack of righteousness that's involved. Now, ultimately, from your attitude, you are really beaten up by this. Would you agree?
For sure.
Okay, so at some point in time, this is going to beat you down to the point where you're going to have to find another job. Yes?
I'm there now. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then what you do, you're putting your ducks in a row. You're sending, but as a last ditch effort, I would address the boss, and because what you're doing is this is why this is amazing that this is even relative to ACE and the principles that I expound all the time, because truth will always cleanse everything. Nothing none of this bullshit lives in the light. It only lives in the dark. And because you're just dealing with him and you're stonewalling with him, you might be surprised. I had a friend of mine who was going through the same thing, and he spoke to his immediate, he went through the course of the rank and file of everything, but then he went above that, CC them, and then everything changed because the boss was aware of, like you don't get to be the boss for no reason. So I'm quite sure that they know that you're putting out fires. If the boss is not aware of the work that you're doing or that you have value, right? And because you know you have value, I mean, you're ready to leave because you know that you have value and you can take it somewhere else. But I doubt very seriously if his boss is not aware of your competence.
I agree.
And if he is, and if he's not aware of your boss can't just all of a sudden say, "Oh, this motherfucker's a troublemaker," such and such. Because then the question of his boss, well, why didn't you tell me this before? If you were having this problem now, all of a sudden, you understand what I'm saying? How truth cleanses everything.
And so, like, I kind of so I've been listening to you for a while, and I follow God for a long time, and I see how a lot of, like, all of these things overlap one another. And I feel as as you just said, you can relate these things to, I would say, darn near everything, because truth carries true regardless.
Right.
And I guess that's the thing, because at this point, I'm kind of at my wit's end, you know what I mean? And
right.
I don't even know if it's at a point where I'm not looking at the guy on the beating horse, I guess you could say, because trying to just be right.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right, because he's incompetent. And so he's lying. He's lying about.
Maybe from the top down.
Right. Well, yes, but there's also that now if you've made it known to the CEO, and then he's still covering up too, then the CEO is competent too. You got to get out of there anyway, because this is going to kill your relationship. It's going to kill your soul. It's going to kill your happiness. So you got to, you know what I'm saying? We all work in a context of something that, sometimes there's things that we got to do to make money and to live. And I think if we are authentic, we are credible, we are empathetic, you can't be a better human being, but you can decide that your value is way more important than the job and find another job. And if you are competent in what you're doing, it ain't gonna be hard. You're not gonna have a hard time finding a job.
I agree.
Make sense?
I agree.
And then, if you still have a problem after that, book a consult with me, and we can fix the rest of the shit. But I don't see how that relieving the pressure from the job doesn't change the whole dynamic in the home.
I agree.
Feel me?
Yeah, I definitely do, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Tell your friend. Tell him, spread the word, please.
Man, I definitely do, man. I thought we missed you at the show here in Richmond, man.
Yeah, man. I got to get out there again. I'm going to start rolling with him again. All right?
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later. Okay, Brendan. Brendan Morris sent me a couple of questions. This is on TikTok. He says 90% of modern women won't be, I'm not sure. Can you speak to that? Like, it's just a default that they turn to IG and cheap attention. Yeah, well, here's the thing. We got to understand something, that the women of today were the little girls of yesterday. And a lot of times if we think about our parents as a whole, very few of our parents knew what the fuck they were doing. And so when our women are seeking this quick attention on social media and thirst trapping and all kinds of, this is because a lot of times they didn't get the love and the attention that they were supposed to get to as a child. Everybody knows what my situation is, that my son is in England. And my wife took my son to England because she just wanted to be in it. She just hated New York. But upon further, how should I put it? Investigation, her mother did the same thing with her when she was a little kid. So, but I didn't have that information until later. I'm not going to get into she wasn't talking to her mother at the time when we hooked up. And another thing is I was 53 years old and I wanted a kid. I didn't have a kid. And so I overlooked things. This is why I tell people not to let emotion have a seat at the table, because when you let when you let the emotion have a seat at the table, you don't see things and you don't make decisions as clear. And it was a decision that I made that I might have made differently if I had been more aware of what the hell was going on, but I didn't. So then what we have to do is we got to pick up the pieces and make the best. But one thing I can say about my wife is she's an amazing mother. Like my son finger paints, he bakes with her, he regular paints, he does pottery, he goes to there's not a day that she's not taking him and keeping him active. And so he gets so much attention that he's such a confident kid, almost too confident. Like he'll just open the door and if you let him out, he is not afraid of anything. And that's because she's given the love. So Brendan, when you talk about this short term women approaching social media to get the feeling that they didn't get before, it's a weird kind of thing because what happens is that they're getting the attention that they didn't get as a child. And that's another thing when I was talking to Mel about Mel was talking about, he has his in-laws in his house and he needs to get them out. I mean, we create a model as a wife and a husband. We create a model and that child practices what they see. So, yeah, I get it. The thing is the attention that they get, if they're not getting it from their dude, and that doesn't mean so much that you're being, you're simping your way through things, Brendan. It's that it has to be mindful, it has to be meaningful, the attention that you give, and it has to be deserving. So a lot of times, guys will buy flowers and stuff on the first date. Dog, you're rewarding somebody for something that they didn't have earned. And I'm not somebody who says that you shouldn't get women flowers, but your attention, your time should be worth the date. And if your time is not worth the date, what are you doing? So, I just wanted to keep in mind that I'm still talking to TikTok as well. I got two cameras going. There's a lot going on, and I'm trying to get through all the conversation, all the questions. Any advice on trusting your gut? There are times when my intuition is always right, but some reason I still don't doubt myself. I don't believe in intuition. I do believe in taking the information at hand. Nobody, you don't play, what people call intuition, I call about absorbing information and assessing information in a real way. So gut is, if that's what you mean about, understanding what information is, what information is and how it responds, I think that's important. Who am I speaking with? Where you calling from?
Yo, it's your boy Major.
What up, Mage? What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. This is one of my best students. What's going on, Mage? How can I help you, brother?
No, this is good, man. It's good. I wanted to clarify something that I talked about on the last live, because I've been consulting with you for a while,
yeah.
And I want to clear something up. I've been with you for 2 years,
right?
And, I don't want the audience to know, is it going to take me 2 years to get to a point where people are at? Because people look at that time.
Right.
And what I want to say is you can't do this 50% or 60%.
Yeah.
You have to do this like upfront, what Dante is telling you to do. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. You're not going to get the results you want.
Right.
You're going to feel bad about yourself. And what I ended up learning about this process was just, this is a journey about learning about you.
Yeah.
About learning about who you are.
Yeah.
It's not about, yeah, to an extent, it's about women and relationships, but it applies to everything in your life. So,
yeah.
It's more just like this testimonial, like this thing works, and it just keeps getting better once you apply the principles. It's just, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you're just learning how to be a dope dude. That's what you do. You're just making men that are just being dope.
Thanks, Major. I appreciate it, man. And man, me and I yell at Major sometimes because a lot of times, as much as he's a dope dude, he don't believe it all the time. And I get it because, I don't want to be too candid, but Major's a dude who had parents who didn't tell him he was a dope dude, and so it's hard for him to believe. Even as an adult, it's hard for him to believe what I'm saying. So I get it. But thanks, Major. Thanks for calling in, man. I love you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I love you.
Love you too, man. All right.
Dope.
Later.
Right. Somebody in TikTok said flowers is a small thing. Dante Stokes. I like that name. Dante, let me just say this about what I was saying about flowers. Not that you can't buy flowers. What I'm saying is, why are you rewarding a woman when she hasn't done anything to reward it? When you reward women for something then they disregard you. I'm not saying that you can't buy flowers. I'm just saying you have guys who will be in a situation who they'll get a pretty girl and then they're attracted to the girl and they're willing to do anything. And any of the women that are in the chat will tell you, ugh, this dude is they don't like it. They don't like it because it's something that they haven't earned. Because it seems as if when you're doing things for women that they don't deserve, what happens is it looks disingenuous. It feels you're trying to get something. Gossiping Heifers just called and said, this guy's going at me. He's talking about he's love bombing her and whatnot. Like when you're older, you see that this is disingenuous. And because it's disingenuous, it makes the women get that, oh, this motherfucker is trying to play me. What does he have in mind? And that lack of safety is a thing that goes off in their head, and then they don't want to fuck with you. You will get a chick who's got real low self-esteem, but you're not going to get nobody worth nothing. And that person who has low self-esteem, the minute they get the attention from somebody else, they're going to take that as well. Let's see what we got on the chat. No, I can't destroy him because his house. He'll say when this woman's for real. Let me see if we got any good ones here. Change the command. Never perfect ways. Have crooked links. Truth instant. We got another call. Hold on. Got answers, whatever. Ali, where you calling from, baby?
What's up, man? I'm calling from New York.
What's going on?
Dante, bro, I just want to give you a shout out. I called you last week.
Yes, I remember.
About that. Yeah, man, your advice is golden. I just want to tell everybody listening out there, I did exactly what you said, and it worked out beautifully, baby. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. Can you talk about it a little bit? Because I'm giving advice. I know we talked. I don't know exactly what the point was.
Well, basically, there was this girl I've been hooking up with, and we made some plans a little bit on Saturday, and she couldn't make it because she got some tickets. I was a bit annoyed.
Right. Okay.
And then you said,
So
hey,
let me explain it because I'm doing TikTok at the same time, and I'm losing the TikTok because I'm talking on the mic and I'm not repeating. So what happens is I'm talking to one of the clients that I've had, and he had a date with a girl, and all of a sudden I think the girl she got tickets for something that she really wanted to do, and he was like feeling a certain kind of way because of the fact that the girl who he had made plans with, and if I remember, the plans weren't concrete. Am I right?
That's right.
It was kind of like, yo, we'll hook up later. She came up with something where she was like, oh, a friend of mine got tickets for this concert that I really want, concert or whatever it was, and then she kind of blew you off to do the concert, right? And
That's right.
and one of the things that I don't talk about a lot of times on the lives is RFF, reasonable, fair, and firm. Is it reasonable for her to get to something that happened that could get something would happen that's really important to you, and it's a lifetime opportunity where you could say, listen, do you mind? This is really important to me, and it's a once in a lifetime. You mind if we postpone and do something which is reasonable? Is it fair that you would expect her to call you and say that instead of blowing you off the last minute? No, it's not fair. That's not fair. And are you firm about what you're reasonable, fair, and firm? Are you firm about what your boundaries are? And so I think what I said to you is that there's nothing wrong with her getting Beyonce tickets and then maybe she's in the Beehive and she wants to, do whatever, right? Wants to go to something. But what's not acceptable, what's not fair is that she didn't call you, that you had to call her first. Am I correct with that?
That's right.
Okay, so what I told you to speak to her and say, look, I don't have a problem with that, but the standard of the fact that you didn't call me is what I have a problem with. And I would just ask that in the next time that we have a situation like this or something similar to it, that you would have the decency to call me. And did you do that?
Bro, I did almost exactly down to the words almost. I channeled you, brother.
Okay.
And it was beautiful.
And
Honestly,
what was her response?
She was apologetic. She said, hey, I'm sorry. And I was like, yeah, it's all good, man. I'm not mad or anything. But
so you said exactly what I told you to say. I don't mean to repeat it, but I'm doing it for TikTok too. And TikTok is not really plugged into the mic, and they can't hear you, so I'm trying to explain.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So you did exactly what I said. You told her, listen, I don't mind the fact that this was important to you. What I do mind is the fact that you didn't make an effort to call, and she was apologetic, and so on and so forth. And she said, I'm really sorry, and I'll do that, and I'll make sure I do that. And so it was no problem. Yes?
Definitely. And the beautiful thing about your advice, Dante, for everybody listening, man, it just makes life easier. Like, I felt like such a man afterwards, rather than, I normally just I'm like, man, screw this, chick, whatever, I'll just ignore. But going forward, I think I'm gonna do more of this, pick up the phone, talk. But I just want to thank you, man. You're doing amazing, bro.
All right, Ali, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling. Thanks for giving me the props. I'm glad that everything worked out. I'm glad that she respected the fact that you spoke. I think what happens is we get in these situations and we're adversarial. We become adversarial, and it's our ego. So I always use this analogy. For years, I bounced at some of the biggest clubs, the Octagon, the Underground, the Tunnel, Roseland. I bounced at all these spots. And a lot of times people who were, I remember specifically, there was a group called Force MDs. I'm showing my age. If anybody knows Force MDs, give me a thumbs up in the chat. But one of the dudes in Force MDs, he got strung out on crack, and then he got clean. And he came to the door, and he comes to the door, and I'm at the door, and he goes, you don't know who the fuck I am? Motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and I was like, no. When you were hot, when he was hot, he had Jerry curls. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that I was being disrespectful to the dude, but I just didn't know that was somebody, I didn't know who he was. So when he was like, you don't know who the fuck I am, this is what your ego does. It says, do you know who the fuck I am, right? And then what's really weird is when the answer is no, I have no idea who you are. I have no fucking idea. And I said, but why don't you tell me who you are so that I could go, somebody said kid and play movies. It was, y'all are thinking about Full Force. That was close. They did wear Jerry curls, but it was Force MDs. I think it was 10 guys in college shirts with Force MDs. If you don't want to laugh, Google it on YouTube. It's the lead singer from that. And I was like, nah, but why don't you tell me who you are? And he said somebody in the chat said they just bought it on vinyl for $1 in Miami. So you and Alexander, so you know what I mean? Like, you don't know who the fuck I am? No, I don't. But why don't you tell me who it is, who you are, so that I can give you the respect that you think you need to deserve. Look, I'm trying to get this $200, not get killed in the process. So, tender love, you right. The chat is going crazy. But I let the dude in, but this is, always remember, your ego is like the Force MD's dude. Do you know who the fuck? So, Ali, you were sitting up going, when she was like, oh, I got these tickets for this thing, you would go, bitch, do you know who the fuck I am? God damn it. Y'all ever see Pinky from the Next Friday, the Fridays movie? Motherfucker, who'd you come to see? Don't you say a goddamn word. So it's like our ego gets in the way, and then we're in a situation where we're going at us, and there's all this hostility, and somebody doesn't even, and all this woman really wants to do, she's just a Beyonce fan who wants to actually access these tickets that she would never go. And when you say, hey, listen, it would have been cool if you had just let me know in advance that this is what, no, ego is not good. Here's why ego is not. Somebody just put in the chat on TikTok, is ego good? No, it's not good. The reason why ego is not good is because ego is an emotion. We never let emotion have a seat at the table. There's never a time when emotion is present where we make better decisions than when we step back and we logically make decisions. So if that is the absolute truth. So, man, Ali, thank you for calling in, bro. I'm glad it worked out, man.
Thanks, brother.
And we got a consultation
Dante.
coming up. We're supposed to touch base again. We'll get a chance. Yep. DanteNero.com for y'all. If y'all want a consultation with me, we can fix it all. We can make the world a better place. DanteNero.com. Click.
Bro.
Thanks a lot. So click on consult. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good shit. Let me just put this. I want to put something. I'm gonna see how savvy I am with all this shit. I'm gonna see real quick if I'm good at all with this, because I am really. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see if we get this up. No, that's not the one. I screwed up. All right, we'll try it again. I appreciate you. Don't forget the Cash App. The Cash App is $ Dante Nero, DanteNero. Y'all know the phone number's up, 929-269-4922. Let's see. Yes, sir. Let me see if I can find this shit. Yeah, let's try this. Bam. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can notice me. And I want y'all to know, coming soon, I will be doing a new podcast. I'm going to be doing a political podcast. It's going to be called Unsurrected. So keep that in mind. Let's see. We got another call. Oh, that didn't go through. Did it? Let me see.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey. Oh, man. Good. This is a good live. I'm enjoying y'all company and stuff. Hello, who am I speaking with? Where you calling from?
Hey, Dante. It's Ted from New Jersey.
What's going on, Ted? How can I help you, brother?
Good. I was listening to your live on Tuesday, and you were talking about men being more sociable.
Yeah.
And I've come to the realization where I've been so focused on getting my career in order,
right,
that I might have neglected on being more sociable in terms of just in dating, and also keep on in touch in relationships with with friends and family.
Okay.
So how do I go about in trying to reforge?
Well, here's the thing, and let me repeat the question for TikTok. I have a phone call that says he's not really a sociable person, hasn't been a sociable person, and because he's not a sociable person, it hurts him in his career, along with women and relationships and family and everything. Let me just say this: if we don't put ourselves out there, then we don't. Then we're not going to know what's out there. You got to understand it, and this is something that I learned as a kid, as a small kid. I know that's hard to believe, but I was a scary kid, right? My dad was way overprotective. He was like, don't go to that party. They're going to shoot you. You're going to get murdered. Don't do no drugs. Don't do this. Don't play out in the street. That my pops was constantly like that. And so as a very young age, I was a very scary kid. The problem was that I got tired of being scary. I got tired of being scared and I was just like, I'm not going to do that no more. I just refused to be in a situation where my life is going to be hindered by that. And what I found out, there's a few things that I can tell you what I thought about at a very young age. I mean, I was like maybe like 8, 9, 10. I was like, there's situations when I'm most comfortable. So Ted, do you have friends?
Yeah.
How many friends you got? How many close friends you have?
Close friends, about maybe 5, 6.
Okay. Now, when you're around them, you're social, or are you still quiet?
I'm social.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. It's not that you don't have the ability. It's just that you're most social, right, in places where you feel most comfortable, right?
Right.
So what I thought about as a young guy, I said, man, if I could just make the world my comfort zone, like, because I operate best when I'm most comfortable. And so if we think about it in a logical way, how do we become comfortable in a situation? It's a place where we frequent often, right? When we do things often, we become more comfortable. It almost becomes muscle memory. We are most comfortable in situations where we are in the best of situations, right? So what you have to do is you got to force yourself to talk. You have to talk. I mean, one of the things that I talk about, guys, just in terms of getting women and stuff, but it works in every situation, is laying the 5 bricks. It's paying 5 women a day, compliments every day. If you start with first thing it does is the compliment. So there's 2 caveats to laying the 5 bricks. One is the compliment has to be honest, right? So you can't just take somebody who's 700 pounds and say, wow, you look skinny. You can't do that. You can't, so the compliment has to be an honest compliment, right? Secondly, it doesn't have to be just the women that you want to have sex with or the women that you find attractive to, right? And what you learn is that people, no matter how just attractive people, unattractive people, heavy people, skinny people, human beings are human beings. They all respond the same way. But what happens is a lot of times when you're in a bar and you're trying to talk to a girl or something, the conversation is transactional. She knows you're trying to get laid, and you know you're trying to get laid, and then you're both trying to act like the elephant in the room is not really there. That there's not this that you don't want to put your dick in her, right? And what happens is when you're having conversations with people and it's non-transactional, when you haven't decided whether you found this woman attractive enough, it's her guard puts down and she's able to receive what you're saying in a better way. I miss Patrice too. So when you're having a social engagement, when it's not transactional, I don't want anything from you and you don't want anything with the conversation. You can agree that the conversation is distinctly different.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
my thing is this though, is like sometimes I just go for months without reaching out. And even though
you can't do that. I mean, there's no way that you're gonna like I've said that and I've consulted, and if you want, I mean, don't forget you can always consult with me and I'll put you through this plan where it literally changes your life. Number one, laying the 5 bricks does something because you actually people have to practice being honest. We all think that we can be honest just by all we got to do is tell the truth, but it's not true. We're not accustomed to telling the truth. That doesn't mean we're outright lying, but a lot of time omission is still a lie. When we're not honest and we're not true to what our words are, and that is what builds trust. Honesty with people builds trust. I've said this 1,000 times. If you're 85% trustworthy, that's the definition of a liar. You gotta be, it's gotta be 10 toes, 100% down all the time. Don't get me wrong. I understand that nobody's perfect, but I'm saying if your intention is 100%, right? That's how you start to build trust. And when you start to build trust, what you say and what you do, and you're honest and you're present. The other thing is you can't pay a compliment, or you can't pay a compliment to somebody who and it be an honest compliment without being present. So the second thing we do is we're present. So it takes away the nervousness because we actually got to say something that's honest. So as much as I lay the bricks when it comes to women, I'll see a dude have some hot, like I'm a big shoe. My shoe game is crazy. I got a pair $2,300 Gators. Well, actually Gators and alligator and lizard, right? And so if I see somebody who got some dope shoes, I'm like, man, I'm feeling them shoes. I'm also a bit of a sneakerhead, you know? So I will compliment a motherfucker on, just like I'll compliment a woman on it. Just because I'm saying that I'm a man who is confident enough to recognize beauty and nice things and speak of it out loud. Do you understand how that the subtext of that is actual confidence? Because most people who are trying to shrink and not really used to those social experience, they don't want to speak because they don't want somebody to shut down. There's a comic on Nick Cannon's what's the improv show he has in the chat? If y'all know what I'm talking about. Wildin' Out. White kid, very timid and voice is like, oh, no. Really hard to hear. And I did consultations with him. I was helping him because he really couldn't. He really didn't do he really didn't speak up. And I started asking him about his father and his mother, and his father was like overbearing and kind of like yelling and screaming. So even when he spoke, he didn't want to be heard because he was like, if I have to speak, I'll just speak quiet. Maybe they won't hear me and then I won't get in trouble. And this is what we do, what our parents do to us. They create these scenarios in our head that really screw us up in a way that we didn't even know we could be screwed up. And so he grew his whole life. He grew up as a man, as a guy who doesn't speak up, And so now he's a grown man and he whispers because he doesn't want to see his body language. He shrinks in the room. He's a stand-up comic, which is crazy, funny. Jason Williams, check him out. So we get in this position where we learn how to act this way as children, and we only reveal ourselves in a situation where we feel most comfortable.
So in a sense, I should just be more comfortable reaching out more.
Jump out the window. Jump out the fucking window. Make mistakes. It doesn't matter. No, there's no way that what you would do or what you wouldn't do is not going to be as bad as you think it is. It's just not. I know you think that it's going to be, but if you start laying the 5 bricks, also, if you consult with me, I can explain the nuance of it because it's a little more involved, and I can tell you how it affects. But this is literally life changing. I had 2 of my clients who called up just to give me props. I mean, who they are is first of all, the guy Major, the one that called up. I met him. Right. He saw me at a comedy club, and he was a fan of the stuff that I do. And the first thing I said to him was, "You don't take up space." And he argued with me. No, I go, no, I'm telling you, you're in this room and you're shrinking as we speak. And the reason why you shrink like that is because you don't want to be seen. Because if you're seen, then you have to actually show and prove, And so. Right. We could delve into what the reasoning is if you decide to, and if you don't, just do it on your own. Try to figure out why you are that way, but it's usually because I know what questions to ask. But the bottom line is you've been taught to not do this, and you got to learn how to do it differently. You got to learn how, and the only way you got to do it, you have to get up and do it. There's no other solution. It's just like anybody these pickup artist dudes and all these other guys and all this crap that people are saying. It's simple, but it's not easy because you actually have to do the work, and there's no way around that. So if you're not social, you got to be social.
Gotta be social, right? I appreciate it, Dante.
Start with the 5 bricks a day. And if you do it with women, do with men. You can mix it up. Just nothing sexual, right? You start out with nothing sexual. It has to be honest, right? And you're not trying to get a number, or it's just practice of you. What I call, psychologists call exposure therapy, where you do it so frequently and you do it so often that it starts to feel comfortable. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, brother. And
awesome.
if you need any help, I'm here.
Awesome. I'll definitely look into the consultation.
All right, brother.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I got a super chat for $10. Jonathan Cleofat. Hey, Dante, insightful perspective and growth in understanding makes you a valuable asset to the philosophical landscape. We need that book. I'm working on it. Peace and love. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate you, brother. Man, I've been on a while, and I'm losing my people in we're gonna do one more call and then we're gonna shut it down. I'm losing my TikTok because I'm not talking to them directly. Don't worry. I promise you, TikTok, we will fix this.
From
Ryan.
to accept.
And who am I speaking with? Ryan? Where you calling from?
Yep. Ryan from Tampa, Florida. How you doing, Dante?
What's going on, baby? How can I help you?
Well, I just wanted to start by saying, man, that been a huge fan of yours ever since I think it was the Black Phillip show.
Yeah.
The Black Phillip show with Chief O'Neal.
Yeah. That was 2006, man. And you're talking about back in the days, almost coming up on 20 years, man.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely old head, man. And then I started tuning into the Black Phillip, around, I want to say 2014.
Yeah.
And man, like you pulled me out of let me just tell you pulled me out of a very dark time period in my life. And I was struggling with, I've always been an introverted kind of guy, never really talked to women all that much.
Right.
I just woke up one day and realized that I didn't really have much of the social skills necessary to really make my imprint in the sexual marketplace.
Yeah.
So when I started listening to your podcast, I don't know, like that just kind of launched me into this era, where I got out of my comfort zone and I started applying a lot of your principles.
Oh, awesome, man.
And I saw you on YouTube. Like, I didn't even know you were on YouTube, and I saw you. I'm like, I got to give this man a call and thank him, because that was just like you were a pretty influential part of my life.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. I really appreciate that.
Now, I appreciate you, man. Like, now I'm married. Now I've been married for the last 3 years.
That's dope.
And,
That's dope.
And yeah, man, like you helped me out a lot. Like you really helped like one of the principles that really helped me was your 5 women a day principle.
Oh yeah, laying the 5 bricks. Now, are you got any kids now or no?
I got 2. I got twin girls.
Nice, man. And understand this, when you have these kids, and I tell this, this is not something just for you to get your wife and stuff. You got to practice this. You got to practice ACE throughout the whole course of things, because it's the thing that makes your marriage and your relationships. It makes your marriage and your relationship successful, and it also, you become a model for your children. And you want them to be able, you don't want them to have to go through the things that you have to go through. That's really what the real thing is. The real deal is that we need to, that's what we need to do. So, I appreciate you calling in, bro. That's a great way to fucking end the night, man. Y'all are dope as shit. I appreciate you.
I really wanted, because I really wanted to say that. I jumped on the opportunity. Yeah, there was because there was a time in my life where I really struggled. It wasn't easy, because you're dealing with somebody who's, even though I had girls approach me and everything like that, but I just didn't realize, I didn't have any sense or concept of my worth until I went out, into the dating field and just talk to people. So it's I just talked to, like you said, I remember one podcast you did. This is with, you had Andre and Harry Turjanian on there, and then Mara Merrick.
Yeah.
You guys were a riot, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was the old Beige Phillip. Also, if y'all want to see those old episodes we did, they're on the Patreon. If you go to the me see if I can put that up real quick. The Patreon also supports us so that we can keep all the back episodes are on Patreon. It's patreon.com, Man School for the both. We do bonus content. So whatever I put online, I put extra content on that. And helping us support that is always a help for us because it helps me pay for the equipment and the internet and the programs and all the technical stuff, man. So I hope people will fuck with that. Don't forget to please like and subscribe on this channel. If y'all are listening and you think that anything we're doing is viable, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe on the TikTok. I'm also streaming on my channel and Instagram, the Dante Nero, Facebook and whatever you listen to, we're on it. So, man, I appreciate you calling in, dog, and I'm glad I can help you, man. And I wish those little girls the absolute best. So that's dope, man. I'm happy that I could be instrumental in helping you put that stuff together, yo. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, OG. You got a lifetime watcher and listener here, and I really appreciate your principles and the Lord's work that you've been doing lately, man. So yeah, keep it up.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you. Thanks, family.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. We gonna shut it down, dog. This is an hour. I was supposed to only do an hour, but you know me. BYBB, get your balls back. The Sexual Revolution being podcasted. I love y'all, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks to TikTok for being patient. Thanks for everybody in the call. I hope I got to everybody's call. Don't forget the Cash App. Don't forget the Super Chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good shit. Really, really, really important to me that y'all do that. Man, I love y'all, man. What else can I say? We will be back, rocking and rolling. We'll be back on Sunday at 7 o'clock. So, check me out. Peace. We out.